Who was Paul in the Bible? Before he was known as Paul or the Apostle Paul, Paul was known as Saul, which was his given name, his birth name. Saul was a passionate and skilled religious leader of the sect of the Pharisees, so much so that he would later call himself a Pharisee of Pharisees. After the death and resurrection of Jesus, Saul rampaged through the church, which at that time was called the Way. He imprisoned and beat and murdered many, many Christians, all while believing that he was doing so for God. While on his way to do more of those very same things, Paul met Jesus on the road to Damascus, where he was blinded. Jesus then told Paul that he was to go into Damascus and meet a man who would heal him of his blindness, and that Paul would end up going and suffering immensely for his name. Immediately after his healing, Saul began to preach the word of God, the gospel. And he began to do so in a way that nobody could refute. And after a few years of doing this, he went back to Jerusalem for a short time to meet with the apostles there. And from there, he was sent out to the Gentiles, the non-Jews, to spread the good news of Jesus. Saul, now known as Paul, the Apostle Paul, went to many, many Roman cities, spreading the gospel, the good news of Jesus. He then, after spending years out on these missionary journeys, he went back to Jerusalem for a brief time, knowing that he was going to go to Rome in chains. When he got to Jerusalem, he was imprisoned, and after a 2-year period, ended up being sent to Rome because he appealed to Caesar. It was a treacherous journey. However, in the end, Paul made it to Rome. Paul made a massive impact on the early church in more ways than one. One, he was the one who brought the gospel to many of the churches of the Roman Empire. However, he also was the one who wrote over half of the New Testament that we still have to this day. He is still making a massive impact in the world as we know it.